Yo, peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Pay Us No Mind. And today, we doing a podcast episode, man. And we're going to be talking about just music monetization and the compromises that artists have to make these days to monetize their music. And whether there's like workarounds that artists could kind of implement to kind of circumvent some of these compromises that they get coerced into. And I'm here. I got a guest today. It's my wife and photographer extraordinaire. So she's an artist as well, and they have their own battles. So it's just like an all-around artist conversation, and not so much just a musical artist conversation, but just like all artists, man, and just like the challenges. Now, listen, this is a family show, and it's a family show because I have a family. So you guys might hear a kid or two cry or somebody knock on his door or come in here or something like that. But y'all know how we get down, man. Y'all know how it go. All right. So I run my mouth about the topic at hand for the first 15, 20 minutes. Then we usually get into the live chat where everybody get to ask questions and all of that good stuff, man. If anybody want to follow up on anything we talk about here, there's links in the description box, the discounts, the different services and things of that nature, man. But yeah, let's get into it. So here's the thing, man. Artists want to monetize their music. They want to make money off of it because the dream for a lot of artists is to just do art, and not have to get up and do stuff that they don't want to do, which is like scrub tables or, take care of somebody else's kids or, do anything to that degree. It's like, I want to get up and I want to take pictures. I want to get up and I want to record songs. And this is what I want to do with my life. And if I can find a way to make money and pay all my bills and stuff like that with this, then, well, that's amazing. So that's where we're at with it, right? That's the desire. That's the dream. And you look and you say, okay, well, how can I fulfill this dream? And once upon a time, the way to fulfill the dream was to get people to buy your music, or pay you to take photos of them. But technology comes along and changes the game with that, where you have the zero profit condition with music, where everybody can record music and get it up in streaming platforms, and people are no longer willing to pay for it because it's just oversaturated and they can get it from anywhere. Same thing with photographers and photography, where people could take pictures on their phones and they don't feel like they need to pay for it, right? So you have this dynamic, and the platforms have taken full advantage with the rules and stuff that they kind of like have people forced into. Now, I'm going to ask you, babe. Now, we're going to call this is Shorty Rock, by the way. Outside of just being my wife, her name is Shorty Rock. All right. But yeah, I'm going to ask you, Shorty. With your experience in photography and stuff like that, what were your challenges in trying to make a living off of your art versus just the artistry itself? Because I'm pretty sure you were like, hey, you had a idea what you wanted to do from a photographer perspective, but did you ever dream of like making a living off of your art, or was it just a creative thing?
What I wanted to do at some point, and I think I'm still going to do it in the future, was do music videos. But at the end of the day, I feel like I still ended up working with a lot of artists, even though it didn't turn into a video capacity. It was just, predominantly stills when I was super active in that field. But yeah, like I think you have to be aware of the fact that talent is a thing, right? Like you have to have a certain amount of talent, and then also compromise. How much you willing to compromise your talent? Like I could have been doing more inside the, let's say, music video field if I was willing to play certain games, but I didn't want to play the game to do whatever it is that people have to do to climb a ladder. So like it's not just a simple fact of whether or not there's technology or there's what do you call it, competition or whatever, but it's more so like how much compromise am I willing to do to get where I want to be, and also what do I really want to be, like what do I really want to do with my art? Do I want to just get up and take photographs and analyze lighting and what do you call it, you know, the word just jumped out of my head, but basically comprise, but that's not the word I wanted to say, but put together videos in still form? Or do I want to jump in my swimming pool mansion and make big money from this? Because there's two different lifestyles happening here. Is my art the most important thing, or do I want to live
Get
a
rich.
certain way? Like, you know, also I used to do fashion photography, and there was big money in that. And I tapped into a little of that, and that was fun or whatever. But then there's certain criteria when you're working for magazines and certain things. You don't have a certain freedom in terms of how you want things to go visually. You have to kind of stay within what does the boss want me to do.
I mean, yeah. And then it's like, yeah, because it's like speaking to someone, because, we know, right? It's like you had your little run with the source or whatever. And
Don't name names.
Yeah, don't name names. Okay, let's not name names, right?
You already
Let's
named
keep
it,
it
but
PC. But I already, the cat's out of the bag
no, but
already.
don't name any names.
Right? But yeah, man, I mean, listen, it's like, and there's different levels of compromise and different levels of challenges, right? So it's like, I'm pretty sure as a woman, there's a whole other bag of challenges that you have to overcome and uh I guess compromises that people try to rope you into that's different from everybody else, or different from dudes anyway. But it's like, I mean, me speaking about it from the standpoint of platforms, like from your YouTubes and your Spotify's and your Instagrams and stuff like that. It's like what they kind of like lump you into is like your agenda versus their agenda. Like it's not even a matter of like symbiosis where I mean, in a way you feed off of each other, but you feed off of each other in the sense that you give them what they want, and then if you can thrive by giving them what they want, then it all works out. But if you can't thrive by giving them what they want, then it's like, it's to your detriment, right? So it's like on a platform like YouTube, for instance, YouTube wants people to stay on YouTube. They make their money by showing people ads when people watch videos. In order for people to see ads when they watch videos, they have to be watching videos. So if you want to get people to Spotify to stream your music, or you want to get people to your music store to buy your music, that works against YouTube's objective of keeping people on YouTube watching videos and being exposed to ads. So if you upload a music video to YouTube, and what people are doing when they watch your music video is going into the description box and clicking a link to go to your website and buy your music, YouTube will probably suppress your video and not allow it to really like spread like that, and through their own system anyway, through like search and recommendations and stuff like that, because you'll be leading people off of YouTube and it would go against what they want people to do.
Well, the platform has their own agenda. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, money. The platform is trying to make money. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking like that's basically what I was saying in terms of integrity. Those are decisions you have to make. Like, how important is money to you? You got to decide. There's only two roads to go down. One is money is at the forefront, and the other is, let's say, self-expression. My art, myself, my values, whatever that means to you. And so you have to choose which one matters the most. And a lot of people choose the money. Worldwide money talks, but this is America.
Yeah, but I mean, with these platforms, it's not even a money decision. I mean, it's somewhat, because it's a conundrum, right? It's like because let's say you can make money if people go to your website and buy your music. That's a money decision. I want people to go to my website because I'm going to make more money if they go to my website and buy my stuff. But at the same time, if you are getting the attention and the traffic from them, then you can't make money unless you get the traffic from them. Unless you like get on their platform and they allow people to see it and stuff like that, you don't get the traffic to turn into the sales.
Well,
You
this is
know?
the thing that the record companies say too, right? It's not, you can't monetize from them maybe to the extent that you would want to, but you have fame now. And now when you have a recognition, you can get creative and swivel that around and turn that somehow into some exploitative way to make a buck. So we made you recognizable. Go ahead and figure out how to make money from that.
Yeah, and that's exactly the game that they play, right? So it's like with social media and YouTube, the name of the game is you come in, you feed them, feed them, feed them, feed them, feed them, feed them, right? Until your channel gets fat and your name gets fat, and it's basically just brand awareness. You become a brand, right? And then once you become a brand and then a recognizable name, then you leverage that name and you make money. So it's almost like you got to put time in. So it's like after you've been on the platform for months, uploading video after video and chatting with people and cultivating a community there, then it's like it's okay if a few of those people leave and go to your website, because ultimately you've driven thousands of people there and you're generating thousands of views and stuff like that. So they're like, all right, cool, you can have a few people, because we know they're coming right back, but because they're committed to you on this platform. So if they leave, they're not gone. They're coming right back. This is where they know you. This is where they consume your content. So this is where they're always going to come back to. So they want a commitment from you. They want dedication from you, for you to set up a channel and upload video after video, or for you to set up an Instagram account and upload video after video. And if you're not going to commit yourself in that way, then they're not going to give you any attention. And they're not going to allow your content to circulate. And if you want people to like basically come to your website and buy your stuff and not kind of feed the beast to, in a sense, then you're talking advertising, because they're going to want you to pay to take that traffic off of their platform. And that is where it becomes more of a business thing, where if you're not a business that has like startup capital, you don't have the money to kind of like invest and build your own thing, then you're kind of beholden to them and what they want from you.
I disagree.
Oh?
Yeah, I think you have to be, again, depending on what you want. Some people don't mind being beholden. Beholden is fine, as long as I can figure out how to work with you. You have the let's say lion's share of the pie. You have a big amount of money and I want some of that, and I could do whatever it is, get my gazillion followers or whatever. But some people don't want to play the game. Some people say, you know what, no thanks, I'd rather not eat from your plate. So now you got to really get creative. Are you a creative? Are you an artist? What can you do outside the box to figure out how to live within a system within a system, or a system outside a system? You have to create your own way. There has to be a way. I refuse to believe
No, I'm not.
that the platforms can take it all and run us all and blah blah blah.
No, I'm not saying that it's impossible.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying to make a point that it's very beyond possible if you decide to, you know what, we got to come together. We got to connect with each other. How do we build this community outside of the man?
I mean, I think to a great extent, they take advantage of everybody's,
Ego.
not just ego, but from the standpoint of cultivating something like let's say if we were trying to build an artist collective, like all of us, all you guys watching, listening, all of that different type of stuff. If we were trying to build an artist collective where we're trying to build a platform for ourselves and promote our content amongst each other, it takes a level of commitment, dedication, and work that the platforms know that a lot of people aren't willing to put in for the unseen.
More so than that, cooperation and focus.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like they take advantage of people's desire for convenience.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like YouTube, Instagram, they make things convenient.
Yeah.
It's everybody is already on Instagram. It's the app is already on your phone. The YouTube app is already on your phone. People use YouTube. So you kind of get lulled into, okay, let me go where everybody is and let me go and do my stuff there. Right. And and everybody kind of gets trapped in that sense because they know it's like you know everybody's there. All of your friends talk about, oh, I saw this on Instagram. Hey, I was watching this on YouTube. And then you create an Instagram account and you start posting stuff and you like, where's everybody? Where'd they go? Everybody's been talking to me on. Why now, when I post my stuff, it seems like everybody's left the party? Where's everybody gone? Why do I have one like? What happened? I know all of y'all. We're friends. When we go to, if I go to a party right now, all y'all in the building, y'all gonna give me pounds. We gonna hug. We gonna be like, hey, what's up? So how do I only have one like?
Well, that's why I said before that collaboration is an issue and ego is an issue, and more detrimental than that to the cause is the algorithm. They don't want you to come together. This is a whole conspiracy theory. The algorithm is out to get us all.
Evil algorithms. I mean, but that's not far-fetched, because but again, the algorithms are suited for the purpose, of the platform.
It's not for you.
It's like which creators are going to keep people here and which creators are trying to take people off of here. So it's like, for those that don't know, Facebook used to have their algorithm used to be called EdgeRank. And it had like all of these different parameters for showing people a post from the time that the post was put up. So where like the most recent post got a certain amount of points, right? So this post is new. It starts off with 1,000 points, and the other posts, as time goes on, degrade. So your points degrade the longer your post has been in existence. So they had that time decay. And then on top of time decay, they had relationships, whether you were somebody's friend or relative or something to that effect. So if you were not a relative or a friend, then your post got demoted, right? So you had to be somebody's friend or a relative. Your post had to be recent, and then you had to have a ton of engagement, like likes, shares, comments, things of that nature on the post. Now, if you did not have those things, then your post got buried. Now, they preferred content from friends and family and stuff like that, because that was the reason why people was coming to Facebook. People was coming to Facebook to see what their friends and family was up to and keep up with people, and that was the reason why people was there. So if you was posting there as a friend or as a family member, then you were helping them keep people on Facebook and bring people to Facebook, because people go out at a barbecue or whatever and say, hey, you remember so-and-so from high school? I came across him on Facebook. Oh, he on Facebook? I wonder what he doing now. And then that person goes to Facebook and look them up and things of that nature. So you had that system like that on there. Now, their system had progressed to the point where it could understand context when somebody put up a post. So it could read the text and get context and say, oh, this post sounds promotional. So effectively, if somebody put up a post where they say, hey, it's my baby shower next week, everybody sees that post. So you get a whole bunch of engagement, likes, shares, comments. Hey, congratulations. If you put up a post and you say, hey guys, got a new t-shirt line coming, right? I got a new t-shirt line coming. Can you guys support it? That post is highly unlikely to be seen, because Facebook is going to suppress it and try to make sure nobody sees it, because if you are promoting a product, they want you to advertise, spend money to advertise. So effectively with the EdgeRank algorithm, when it came to brands, like you guys got artist pages, stuff like that, they all but died because they weren't being able to get any visibility, because it's like, you're not anybody's friend. So people aren't really coming here for you, you know, and you are here to promote stuff. And if we allow you to promote stuff for free, then you don't feel the need to advertise, right? So it's like, yeah, man, it's your agenda and what you want versus their agenda and what they want, and trying to overcome that, right? Now, with a platform like YouTube, the way around that, or one way around that, is to kind of like create a platform yourself. Not so much that you need to go out there and create your own YouTube, but even if you just had one page, like you go and you sign up for like, let's like a one of these landing page platforms or something like that, and you put all of your YouTube links on that page, and when you are sending people to check out your music, you send them there rather than YouTube. Now you're still operating within YouTube. They still generating the YouTube views. your views still contribute to their algorithm to where when they go to YouTube, it'll be recommended to them and stuff like that. You still get the benefit of YouTube's algorithm because of the activity that you're driving, but you get to restrict YouTube from driving traffic away from you. Because that's the other thing, right? Is that YouTube is actively driving traffic away from you. That's the thing that makes it crazy with advertising on YouTube. So it's like people want ads on YouTube because it's like, yo, I got a music video out. I want to promote this music video. I want to make sure people see it, you know, and the hope is that people are going to watch your video and then go to your channel and dive into more of your videos and then be like, oh my God, this guy's got this great catalog. Look at all of these songs. And that's what you're hoping for. But it's like having ran advertising campaigns for artists and looked at campaigns that artists have ran. It's like they have like no traction. Like people put up a video, it gets like 100,000 views, and then maybe 3 or 4 views a day after that, you know? And it's like, well, what the hell happened? You got 100,000 people and now it's down to like 3 views a day? Like, what's happening here? Because YouTube actively drive traffic away from you. So you advertise. Somebody clicks the ad to go and watch your video. When they click that ad to watch your video, they get taken to a watch page. Now you guys are watching this video right now. If you are on a desktop computer, on the right side, you see a string of other videos that YouTube is like, come watch this. Come watch LeBron James backhanded through the legs dunk. You know, come watch Joe Budden talk about Drake and their beef. Come watch Hot 97, whatever conversation they have in Power 105, whatever, right? In that description box, it is trying to drive you away from this video to something else. And when somebody comes and watches your music videos, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, YouTube already has a video automatically queued up to autoplay. When your video stops, immediately after it, they're lining up another video that's not from you. It's from somebody else's channel. So if that person doesn't actively select a video from another channel, they're going to have a video from another channel chosen for them. So that person gets driven away from you to someplace else, probably down a rabbit hole where they end up watching a whole bunch of other videos and completely forget about you no matter how much they like you. So it's a bunch of pressure on the viewer to take action. Right? They got to be like, oh my God, I love this guy so much. Let me leave this video page, go to his channel page and surf through his videos. And then every time they click one of your videos from your channel page, it's more temptation. Right back in the wheelhouse because they're going to click from your channel page to go to the watch page. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other videos in the sidebar like, hey, look at me. Don't you want to see so-and-so's cleavage? Right? All of this other stuff. And you might be like, oh, okay, well, damn. Oh, I didn't know, that they was dropping bombs on this country. Let me go watch that. And now, boom, you're away. Right? So it's like you need to bring people into your own space. But that's the big thing, right? Is that we need our own spaces. So it's like you need a website.
Does your own space? Oh, okay. I was just going to ask, does your own space count as like just your YouTube page or whatever? You know how like your YouTube channel page, can that be considered your own space?
I mean,
no, because then, like you just said, once they click on a video, they'll have all those other.
Yeah. It's like you don't, because it's like it, and when you embed a YouTube video, you have the ability to like, it's like a little, like a little script that you add within the code to remove their recommendations, because they go hard with the recommendations, man. Like on YouTube, you're on the platform. So it's like it's the sidebar, it's in video, it's auto queued up, all of this different type of stuff. But if you embed a video in your website, you strip away the sidebar. But if somebody hits the pause button, YouTube shows a whole bunch of other videos that they should check out from other channels when they hit the pause button. So you got to add like a little script in the embed code to restrict the recommendations when people hit the pause button to keep them from, driving traffic away. So it's a dance, man. It's a dance. But yeah, you take advantage of, you got to figure out just ways to work around it, man. Ways to work around it, But yeah, it's a challenge, but to a great extent, you just got to be smart about it. You got to be smart
Strategic.
about it. What you control, you want to make sure you get maximum value out of. So it's like the way to play this, I would say, is you use them for what they're good for, but without extending yourself to the point where you're being abused. So it's like if you post stuff on YouTube and you get traffic from within YouTube, search, recommendations, stuff like that, things outside of you, then great. But if it requires you to basically leverage your audience and the only views that you're getting on YouTube are from people that you're bringing from Instagram and Twitter and from your mailing list and stuff like that. If you got it like that, if you got a community, then you got to understand that that community will go wherever you send them. So if you have a community that you've cultivated, even if you have a community that you cultivated within YouTube, if those people are rocking with you and you can say, hey, go here, and those people will go there, then it's like, well, why would you send them to YouTube? That doesn't make sense to send them to a place that you're not going to get maximum value from. So it's like, in that sense, you would say, okay, well, I got this audience. Now let me send them to my website to buy my music, or let me send them to Bandcamp, or where do I get the most value? Because they're going to go where I send them. So let me send them to the place where I get the most value, you know?
Well, as a visual artist, I have concerns with these platforms, especially Instagram and those kind of places where you would put your imagery because of the terms of agreement. Not That's not my only concern, but it's one of my concerns is that basically there's some slick language that says that once you put an image up here, we can use it whenever and however we feel, which they commonly don't typically do. Okay, fine, that argument can be made, but I just don't feel comfortable with them having access to my work freely.
Yeah. And that's the rub, because it's like the terms of agreement, and all of these platforms have them, and we just click that box and just keep it moving. And I mean, for the most part, it's nothing really egregious like that, because of the fact that these companies make so much money, and there's so many ways that the law can be interpreted where they're not going to be so abusive, because there's a whole bunch of lawyers chomping at the bit to reach out to anybody that these companies have crossed to represent you in some type of class action suit
I
to
mean,
say, hey,
it's not that it's never been done though. It's been done.
No, I mean, no, listen, they will abuse you to the effect that they can get away with.
Not
and
even just the platform, like
other
people
people.
too.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's like so it to go into like the abuses for visual artists. There was a artist, I don't remember his name, but the guy had, because with visual art, guys, is different from music. With music, so you sample somebody's song without their permission, and they will sue you into oblivion. Even if you take a little clip of it, you get sued. With visual art, as long as they make as long as they alter it, then it's considered a new piece. So if somebody takes the photo of a photographer and draw a mustache on the person they took a picture of, then it's a new work. And they don't have to get any copyright from the person, because it's not considered their work anymore.
It's called derivative works, and I mean, there's details, and you can argue things all day and night in court, but it's just the fact that it's something. Who wants to go to court?
Yeah, exactly that, right?
Who has the energy for these kind of conversations? So yeah, I mean, these are just things that as artists we need to consider. Again, like, what matters to you, what are your values, how can you go around things, how can you be creative in terms of your own personal distribution of your work, and also, where does my ego play into this? Maybe it's not that big a deal if somebody draws a mustache on one of my pictures. Maybe I'm making too, you gotta, like, these are questions you gotta ask yourself and work it out within yourself. And then also, I don't want to like pivot, but like, AI is a thing, so that's a whole different thing, but that's just another concern of mine that falls into that whole social media and how it could become problematic.
I think it comes down to exploitation and monetization. So it's like, as an artist, you might be flattered to see somebody take your music and use it in something, and you look and you say, damn, man, that's cool. People love my music enough
Yeah.
to make something with it.
Yeah.
But if somebody makes $1 million off of this thing that they've made with your art, and then they don't give you a
You
penny,
might not care. You might
I
still
mean,
be flattered. Depends
I
who's
mean,
using
yeah,
it, right?
you have people who won't care, but I think a lot of artists would if somebody was. I mean, listen, y'all tell me if somebody took like you know how like if
But
somebody
who's the somebody? Whoever's a big name somebody.
okay, let's imagine this, right? I don't know. Maybe y'all would be happy and not care. You know, like if you turn around and you got somebody on American Idol decides to cover your song,
Yeah.
even if it's a rap song,
Yeah.
right? You turn on American Idol one day and it's like, oh, somebody's up there performing your joint. You know, it's like the response is gonna be, oh, yo, somebody doing my joint on American Idol, right? It's gonna be excitement. I don't think like the first thought is gonna be like, yo, man, where's my check? You know, like I don't think that's gonna be your first thought.
Mm-mm. My first thought would be, did they credit me?
Ah, the credit.
Did
Oh,
you say this song was written by the one and
oh,
only Shorty Rock? Like,
artists and the old elusive
yeah,
kudos.
I don't even need money, but you better shout me out. Ever
Recognize
elusive.
it was me.
Yes.
It was me.
'Twas I.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
true, what he's called,
The-
genius behind the work.
yeah. Artists and credit, man. You know, you got to have that ticker at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
This artist is performing
Right.
such and such by so and so. Then it's like, oh yeah.
Ego's an issue. That's a problem.
I mean, listen, man. As artists, we all have egos, man. That's what makes us great. It's the
Drives us to
yeah.
beauty.
It's what drives us to greatness, man. If you're an artist with no ego, you might be I don't know, because that'd be like, yeah, man. And it'd be amazing when artists try to feign humility and stuff when it's like, oh no, it's just a little thing that I've done here. And you know, when that humility ain't real, the minute somebody has something negative to say about something they did, if somebody be like, yo, that was whack, like, how dare they? Whack. Can't believe someone would even think. I'm amazing.
This is a whole side conversation too, because ego is so fragile that sometimes sometimes the ego is overinflated just so that you can get through the day to make another work, because you look at it tonight and you love it, and in the morning you're like, this is terrible. What have I done? Why did I waste the last 4 months of my life making this?
Yeah,
It's the up and down.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, being an artist is a tough job. And nowadays, we want to try to spin it into profitability
Yeah.
and make money from it. I mean, once upon a time, people were just doing it because they love to do it. And it's
Right.
kind of like you lucked into money to some effect. You were just trying to be good at what it was you was doing. So it's like for a great effect nowadays, the possibility of money has become much more of a reality for a lot of artists, even a little bit of money. So it's like in my day, it was like, I mean, with rapping anyway, because it's a different thing, right? And that's the other thing, the fact that it's different depending on what type of art you do. So it's like my wife, Shorty Rock here, was a photographer. That is a trade. So it's like when I was coming up doing music and stuff, if we wanted photos, we had to hire a photographer and pay them $300 to take headshots, to put together a package to present to demos. And those shots were really important because they needed to like captivate your personality and persona as an artist to sell it to the record label when you presented that package to them. So photography is an art, but at the same time, it's a trade and people got to pay for it. Yeah, the same thing goes with singing. People that can sing, not only can they cut records, but they could do covers. They could not covers, but they can do jingles for TV commercials, restaurants be needing singers just for entertainment, for people to like have something to listen to while they eat. The same thing with musicians. They get booked to be background, to play black background music at events and at restaurants and stuff like that. But a rapper, you ain't really have nobody like, hey, we got a job for you, rapper. Like, nah, it was kind of like record deal or, hey, you're just on the street rapping to people, and that's what it was. So it's like as a rapper, people just was doing it for the love. We was out battling and having ciphers and going to open mics and things of that nature. And the internet just changed everything with rap, where it's like, well, now you could upload a song to Spotify and get streams, and make money that way. What happened? What's funny?
No, I'm just thinking about how old we are. We was like really living a whole life before the internet came.
Yo, yeah, it was a whole life,
Like
yo.
what? This internet is brand new to me. I'm like, what is this thing? But yeah,
Back in my day.
right. When we walked to school 7 miles in the snow with no shoes.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, at the end of the day, yeah, it was a time before a time, right? And it wasn't always about money. And now everybody kind of wants and expects to make money immediately.
I mean, to be fair to like, again, talent is important. How talented are you? Like once upon a time, you needed to display a certain amount of, like you said, skill level, tradesmanship, or whatever you want to call it. Like you had to say, hey, my work stands above all these other people. This is why you should hire me. But now the expectations are different with the advent of the internet, with the whole money, because money can corrupt the whole field. Money can change the way everybody plays the game. So not to say that money is bad. Of course, you should there's something good about being able to be compensated for your work. You shouldn't just be like sitting on the corner like, please look at my paintings. I love to hold paintbrushes in my hand. Give me 50 cents. Like, yeah, okay. You should be able to say, hey, I'm good. Here's my work, pay me. But at the same time, it has to be brought into the equation in an equitable way where you're not whoring yourself out. You have to, like, it has to be, again, integrity behind this. And us as a culture and us as a community, again, we have to have a community amongst ourselves where we're like, we set standards. It's like, okay, when the music video dancers in the 90s were pumping and doing the
working it out.
Yeah, they were sweating.
It was like an aerobics class.
They were doing the running man, and they were doing backflips, and they were like, oh, they're dancing. They're like, spinning on their heads. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, hey, some people came and they were dressed very scantily, and they
the
just
era
stood
of the
around.
Video vixen.
They just stood around and they drank champagne, and they were like getting paid just as much as the dancer people. And dancer people were like, yo, excuse me, I've been dancing my whole life. I've been training for this. So now you just come in and literally stand there and drink champagne and take everybody's job. What? It's just because the culture has shifted. Now we don't care to see dancers for whatever reason. Somebody has decided we just need cute girls. We don't need them to be doing all that much. Just stand there. That's just as good. Matter of fact, it's even better. And now, whoop, people don't have jobs.
Yo, I mean, that video vixen thing kind of got crazy, man, where, chicks is just basically like, that was my ass in the Yeezy video.
No,
you
but
saw that clip?
That's recent, right? Yeezy, I'm comparing. So Yeezy was, I don't know, what was that, 2000 something? But I'm talking about like 90s compared to the 2000s. But my point is, you used to have a skill, and now the culture has shifted, and you no longer need that skill, and that has come across all levels of artistry, not just dancers, but photographers. Well, I don't. It's different for photographers, but even painters, right? Look at how, again, AI. Now you don't have to hire a painter. You could just put it in a program, put an overlay on it. Now you have a paint version of your photograph. There you go. You don't need to take it to a commissioned skilled painter anymore to have somebody hand paint a family picture for you. Just put it in the computer system, and now it looks like a painting. It's just as good, right? People used to have to sing. Now there's auto-tune. You don't have to sing anymore. What do you need to learn to sing for? Singing coach. Let's just throw them. They're out of business now. We don't need those guys.
But listen, I would say this, man, because it's a duality to all of this, right? With AI and with the degradation of things. So it's like, from one standpoint, you got everybody looking to make money, right, off of their music, and the fact that things have become so much about money. But on the other side, a lot more people can make money, So it's like, rather than artists being forced into the dark corners of life where it's like, well, I can't make any money off of my art. So now we're just, because you got all these unsung heroes in music, people that had tremendous talent and they never made a dime because the record companies didn't think they were good enough to sign, and all of that different type of stuff. And the internet paved the way for those guys to be able to upload music and before it was like you had to do a website and try to sell music, and now it's like, hey, if I could just get you to listen to it, I can make some money. So that
Well,
just,
that's why I would say talent is important, because if you have undeniable talent, it's undeniable,
yeah,
right?
it's undeniable.
You get it out there, somebody hears it like, whoa, this blown away. This person can really sing. Wow, this person is amazing sketch artist or whatever. Like, you can't say that person is not ill, but then you have to be creative and to figure out, how do I make money
Yeah,
from it?
but this is what I'm saying. Like, even in the sense of AI, it's still a level of creativity that has to be implemented with it. So it's like with me, I've been fooling around with AI for the past couple months, and what I've been using it for is just coding. So it's like you have concepts and things in your head that you want to construct, and you might not have the technical expertise in that regard to construct it. So you say, okay, let me go and have AI construct it for me. Because if you go and try to pay somebody to build an app or something like that, they're going to charge you like 10 racks to build an app or something,
And how do you think the coders feel about
I know,
that?
I know, right? I know. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I guess for the person that can afford to pay them, that will lose money, that they lose money from. But it's like, for me, it becomes more about just what the intellectual talent, right? Intellectual property. What can you envision in your head? Can you create like what kind of idea? Even with music, like I started Googling AI mixing, because we have AI mastering, like you got Lander and stuff like that, but to a great extent it could be like putting ish on a stick, or like basically shining ish on a stick. So it's like if you
What
go,
is that?
yeah, on a stick. It's like, yeah, it's like basically, you go into the booth and
Right,
you
and it's
record,
terrible.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not recorded the right way, and then you don't know how to mix, so you put together a crappy mix, and then you go and upload it to Lander, and they just basically shine the crap you just recorded, and it still sounds like crap. It just sounds like mastered crap. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the whole thing is like, hey, I don't know how to mix, and I at this stage don't want to go to a studio and sit with an engineer for hours and have them go over stuff and pay however much per hour while this guy fixes everything and just goes over one snare for 101 times.
Well, like you said, it's a duality, right? There's good and bad.
Or whatever. And that's not a snare, but but yeah, all of this stuff, and then you spend all of this money, so it's like now I found a couple too where you just upload your track, like your vocal track and the beat or the parts of the beat, and you say, hey, this is a hip hop record, and then it just automatically mixes it for you. And hey, that takes that off of my plate. I don't have, now it's still a create. I can write, I can rap, you know what I'm saying? I can put this on the arrangement where all of the vocal, the first verse, the chorus, second verse, third verse. Okay, I want this person to sing on it. Their vocals go here. Here's what you're gonna sing, right? All of the formations. Okay, I'm gonna have this skit at the end. I'm gonna have this intro in the beginning. All of that is me.
I'm not saying there's
The
no
AI
creativity.
just mixed it. Yeah.
I'm not saying there's no creativity. I'm not completely knocking AI. Back to the conversation about the painting, right? You put your image into the computer, and the computer makes it look like a watercolor painting, beautiful. I'm glad to have those kind of things, because I think that you can be very creative with that. I'm just saying there's a watercolor artist out there somewhere crying in their paint set. That's all. There's good to it and there's bad to it. Like you said, there's a duality. There's a lot that can be taken from it, but we have to recognize that it does take away from the artists of the olden.
I think this, when it comes to taking away, you have to make yourself invaluable. So it's like, yeah, to a great extent, and I would say more so, who AI impacts is the upcoming person, not the people who are established or the people who can somehow manage to establish themselves, because people always want the real McCoy. So if somebody develops a certain style, it's like, I grew up in Harlem, home of a lot of fashion type of, hood fashion anyway, where there's a standard to how people expect people to look and dress and stuff like that. And you had the North Face, right? That coat and Gore-Tex and those types of things that cost a lot of money to have. And then you had knockoffs like South Pole and First Down and stuff like that. You know, Mountain Gear was like a knockoff of Gore-Tex. And they could mimic the style. Like you could look at a pair of Mountain Gears and be like, those Gore-Tex, right? But if somebody looked at the label and was like, those Gore-Tex, those ain't, I mean, those are Mountain Gears. Those ain't Gore-Tex. People was like, aha, that, oh, those are nice. I mean, that, oh, those are nice sneakers turned into, oh, he's a bum. Straight up and down. That's how people was looking at you. Like you were some type of bum. Now, if they didn't know they were Mountain Gears, they would think they were nice sneakers. But because they know, now you're a clown, right? North Face, South Pole, same thing. People was looking at people like, oh, this guy's rocking the South Pole coat. Like, oh, dude, you know? Because it's like, that's not the real thing. So it's like you have producers that have established themselves and things of that nature. And no matter whether AI can mimic their sound, the only people that's going to go to the AI for the sound are the people that can't afford to hire Dr. Dre, or the people that can't afford to hire whatever producer, because people want to work with them. They want to be in the room with them. They want their approval, right? They want that person to be like, yo, I think he's an ill rapper. You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to sit back and tell their kids, yo, I used to work with Dr. Dre back in the days when we was in the studio, you know? So it's not just about the sound. It's about other stuff too that's involved. So it's like if an artist develops a brand and a name and all this other stuff, then that carries more weight than just the AI, you know? So it's like somebody can go and have an AI do a Drake verse for them and get on a song. But if they haven't really collaborated with Drake, people are going to look at him and like, oh, word, that's some AI? Like, that's what you did?
I don't think that's true.
Okay. You disagree?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
I think people.
Elaborate.
I think people. I think it's a different culture. And this is my imagination about what's going on now. Maybe I could be corrected. I'm totally open to somebody who knows more than me. But at the end of the day, I think I don't think it matters that it's Mountain Gear the same that it once upon a time that it used to matter. I don't think people care that it's a fake anymore. As long as it like gets the job done. Like again, back to integrity and values. Like that might be something that you might value. But I don't care about wearing South Pole. You know what I mean? Like you could laugh all you want. To you, I'm a bum, but to me, I'm warm in the winter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, especially in the sense of art, you know, people.
You think somebody cares if they can pay $10 to get an AI Drake verse versus?
No, what I'm saying is the person that is looking for a $10 AI Drake verse isn't Drake's clientele. You know, that person can't afford to pay Drake.
Right.
The person
that's exactly everything though.
Yeah, but the person but the person that can afford to pay Drake wants Drake. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like I want Drake in my video. I want people to know that, because part of selling it, right? The feature isn't just Drake's voice. You know, it is his brand.
Right.
And for especially in music, what they're paying for is association. So it's like some of these artists, they come out, and this is why the record label will pay other artists that are on the label to be in the other guy's music video. So you ever see these music videos where new artists come out, like that guy Houston or whatever that had that Just Like That, Work That Back. He had a whole bunch of people in this music video. That guy talk about it today. It's like, I didn't know none of these guys. It's like the label just brought them in there to make it look like this guy is like popular in the industry and has all of these industry friends. So you look and you see, okay, well, Puffy's in the video, Nori's in the video, Pharrell's in the video. All of these guys are here bringing their brand, because now their friends come and they say, oh, this guy's cool with him. So, okay, he must be cool now. You know, if they just, that's like, because this AI stuff is no different than what happened after Tupac died. After Tupac died, people was like wholesaling Tupac verses. And you had all of these mixtapes popping up with verses from Tupac on it and all of this other, and people were just like, yo, did Tupac really rap that verse? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really Pac, right? That's you bought that verse. Loses all value, because the value is in the fact that you got to work with Tupac.
Right. Okay. I can see that. But also, I hope I'm wrong when I say this. Part of it for me is the knowledge that AI makes everything, and this is, I'm not trying to make it about AI anyway. It's just the culture is changing, right? So like once upon a time when you used to have to be some grand singer in order to get a record deal, now you could just be a mediocre singer with uh what's that thing called? Auto tune, right? Everything, everybody's expectations just get collectively lowered. And then all of a sudden it doesn't even really matter that much anymore. All these things that you're talking about. It's just what is best for me to be able to, okay, so like I said, I used to wanna be, and again, I pray that maybe things will turn around and I could go back to this place, but maybe not, and it'll be okay too. But I used to want to direct music videos and work more in that space. But as I was working in the stills of that space and I was getting to learn about more artists and getting to work with more people in the industry, I started losing my inspiration because I just didn't care about the music anymore. Once upon a time, I wanted to make, I heard a song and I would be inspired, and now I have this whole idea for a video. I see the whole outline and what I'm gonna do and the lighting, and then the more I hear the music, the more things progress, everything sounds the same. I don't even care anymore. Why do I want to make a music video for the same song that's been made 45 times anyway? It just all becomes so redundant. That's why it's so exciting when you hear like an artist that's actually making art. This is a whole different sound. This is something that everybody's not doing. This is not what's popular. This came from the soul. I can hear the soul in you. And that is my concern about AI, not just because things are being made easier or everything's being uniform, but nobody's showing their true authenticity anymore. It's like,
Yeah, but to spin that back to having your own space and the coercion that goes on with, being forced to use these platforms and
oh,
stuff.
that's true. They probably are, and we can't hear them, right?
I mean, the reality of the situation is creativity prevails for the people who care about creativity. Like AI will never be able to kill that. So what it is it's the same thing with how we have this situation where you have a whole bunch of guys, right, that'll talk about how there is no good girls, or girls that'll talk about how there's no good guys. And it's not so much that there are no good guys or no good girls. It's the type of girls that they want or the type of guys that they want. So they want a good bad guy or a good bad girl, and it's like, yeah, you're looking for a good bad girl. You're not looking for a good girl, because it's like every guy that has that knows good girls, you sit down and you have a conversation and you're like, yeah, because girls get down like this, and your friend will be like, yo, I'm not like that. I'm not looking for a guy to have a car, and it's like, but and the guys say the same thing, right? All girls ain't like you though. But it's like, hey, she exists. I know that has been said, so I know a whole bunch of girls that exist that are like that. And the same thing with dudes, with girls, all men are dogs, and like, well, I'm not like that. And it's like, but does we? Because they're looking for a particular type. So it's like, it's the same thing with the music. Most people are looking for superficial stuff. Music doesn't really matter to them to a great effect. It's just background noise. People get in the car and they're like, hey, I just want to hear something while I'm driving. And whatever's on the radio, whatever comes on is like, whatever. But other people have a really profound connection with music. It speaks to their soul. It speaks to things that they've gone through, their experiences, stuff like that. So if people make authentic music, because that's what the thing is, right? People are failing not because the system, to a great effect, even though the system factors into it, people are failing because the music isn't compelling or profound. So when the music does find its way to people's ears, nobody is like, oh my God, I love this song enough to leave YouTube and go to your website and consume it. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. So it's like what artists have to do is take on the challenge and recognize that and say, hey man, to basically not fall into the trap. Because artists really a lot of artists are falling into the trap. They're looking in there saying,
song for the club.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl.
Yeah, right? Where they like, okay, well, here's what's popular. Here's what's tending to get all of the play on the radio. Here's what I hear on the playlist. Let me make music like that. And that is the most difficult thing to promote because that is readily available to everybody. People don't have to go searching for that. So it's like when the real stuff that touches people is the thing that is obscure. If you deliver that, then you got a fan base because people are like, yo, I can't get this anywhere else. You know, this guy is unique. So then people seek you out and you can cultivate your own thing. When you sound like everybody else, then it's just like you're a crab in a bucket. Y'all all just fighting to get out of there. And it becomes a matter of money. Who has the most money? Who has the most connections? Who has the most influence? Because there is no difference between you. You all sound the same. You all look the same. What does it matter? You know, but artists look at that and they say, they're on the playlist. They're on this. That's the way that you're supposed to sound. And people forget the fact that these guys are succeeding on a 1% success rate. In a lot of sense, less than that. Because it's like you look at it and you say, okay, well, back in the days of record sales, a record goes platinum. That song has reached billions of people worldwide and only 1 million chose to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Or a record goes gold. 500,000 people chose to buy it after reaching billions of people around the world. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, these records are selling like established acts are selling like 2,000 copies. You know, 1,000, 4,000 copies.
Well, that speaks to culture too, because the way people consume music now.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Because if we could say that was the case if it was consistent through and through, which is not. So it's like if you look at hip hop, a lot of the mainstream hip hop acts can't sell anything. Nobody will buy a CD or a vinyl record or not. They can't sell physical music. People will listen to it, dance to it, have fun with it, but they won't spend any money on it. But you look at acts like Olivia Rodrigo. You look at acts like Taylor Swift. You look at acts like Adele. Those guys are selling physical music like hotcakes.
I just would like to implore all peoples in the world to tap into their own authenticity, be fully creative, and don't hold back. Just let your light shine, because at the end of the day, us true music fans, like I'm a big fan of good music, and of course good is relative, but us true music fans are just thirsty for talented people who, you know what, doesn't even have to be like old school talent. Look at your boy Bob Dylan. Oh my gosh, how terrible is he? But he's also very good at the same time. So it's not just talent. It's just like, I have feelings, I put them in a record, and like, mess with me or don't mess with me. Your decision. So I'm just asking everybody to just be real to your own self. That means you got to look in the mirror and have some conversations, and then just share your real self with everybody else, because we are waiting for you.
Yo, that just reminds me of a story, right? Like, it's an artist, you know, and I don't know if it's cool to say his name. I won't say his name, matter of fact. You know, but he came to me a couple years ago, I would say, and he was just like, yo, he wanted to run ads for his music. He wanted to run ads for his music. And we start running ads for his music, man. And I mean, personally, when I listened to it, I felt like what he was talking about in the music was a mismatch for like who I felt like he was as an artist. You know, like he sounded more like a Kid Cudi type. You know what I'm saying? But he was talking about like, you know, more in a commercial hip hop way, right? Where you're talking about girls and money and mixing that. But it's like you could hear a little glimmer of who I knew he was in it. It just wasn't enough for people to really connect with it in a profound way. So we run ads for the songs. And some people took to it, right? They heard that glimmer and they were rocking with him, and he was getting subscribers and stuff like that. But a lot of people was getting on him and having negative stuff to say. And you know how hip hop can be, man, where people can be brutal. Oh, you suck. Give it up, homie. All of this different type of stuff. And I think some of that kind of got to him, right? Where he was like, oh man, you know, people saying all these negative things. Can we turn the comments off? And ultimately he say, hey, he come to me. He say, hey man, do you think I should continue to do this? Do you think it's worth it for me to continue to invest in myself and go down this path? Do you think I'm good enough? Effectively, the way I took it was he was asking me if I thought he should quit. And my answer to him was, yo, I think you need to fall back and take some time to find out who you are as an artist. Now, the thing is, hey, you are trying to run a business. You advertise in music for artists. You get paid to manage these ads. But ultimately, This is why I try for these things to not be dependent on these things, because I always want the freedom to be able to be honest with people and let them know what I think. So it's like I say, hey man, I think rather than continuing to pay me and to run these campaigns and stuff, right, which I could have did, I say, hey man, I think you should fall back and just work on finding out who you are as an artist. So it's like after a year or so, he comes back and he says, hey, I want to run some ad campaigns for some songs. And he's running ad campaigns for songs. And that just basically brings him back to my attention, because he didn't hire me. I wasn't running the ads for him because he didn't want to spend that much money. He was just testing, kind of like trying to find his way. And then one day I saw he like commented on one of the videos, and then I say, hey, let me check him out. And I go to his Twitter account, and then I see he has a new song out, or his last music video. And I check that music video out and I watch it. And when I watched it, I smiled and I tell my wife, I'm like, hey man, I was like, yo, this is him. This is him. I see him, right? And I'm like, yo, this is who he is as an artist, right? Or as this is the personality that, and it's like that song excited me. And because I knew the people who would connect with him as an artist would really rock with that song, because in the song, he's kind of talking about, yeah, all right, let me not drive into the song, right? But yeah, people would connect with him with the song. And when I reached out to him and I'm like, yo, man, you need to do something with this record, right? This record is you, and I could see people connecting with it. And I think that encouraged him enough to invest in promoting that record. So you do a playlist push campaign, and the playlist push campaign was successful. He got on a bunch of playlists. He got a bunch of streams, So it's like, yo, and it's like, yo, man, if you would have submitted one of those other songs, maybe, I would say kind of unlikely that they would have picked up on it. But that record, people know where to place it. And people listen to it and they say, oh, I connect with this. So it's like when you come with something unique, you come with something real and authentic, because listeners, they know. People know when that music sounds real. Even if it's not your real life, if somebody like really wants to be like somebody, you know what I'm saying? It's still kind of authentic to the effect that it speaks to a certain desire that you have, as opposed to something being completely fabricated. Like you are so distant from this person, like somebody who's a nerd who is like, oh, you know what? The only way I'm gonna be successful is to be a rock star. So let me just go and straight up pretend. I don't really care about that at all.
Pretending or not pretending. I think it's about, again, motivation. If you're just trying to do something to get money, it's gonna come through in your work, no matter what your medium is or what your expression is. But if you are just doing something that is creative to you, something maybe you made a whole, I don't know, visual album about being a cowboy, or maybe you made a whole song about living in 2012 or 1894, or I don't know, whatever it is. It could be completely fake and fabricated, is my point. But if it came from the soul and it was an extension, an expression of actual, true, real you, that's going to come through.
Yeah, man, definitely. So we're going to wrap this up, man. Y'all could enjoy this on YouTube, or you could enjoy it on Spotify. I'm going to put it up as a podcast. It'll be on podcast platforms as well. But any last words?
Yes, I would like to thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I had fun with this little visit. Maybe I could come back another day.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, man, you guys know the drill, man. As always, y'all can hit me up at PayUsNoMind on Instagram, at PayUsNoMind on Twitter, PayUsNoMind@gmail.com. This is Gift signing off. Pay Us No Mind. Peace, good people.